Hi. So many believe that once you're accepted into an academic institution in Canada, then that's it, your study permit is a given. But that's not the case. So there's a whole process that you need to follow. You need to submit an application, you need to prove that you will leave Canada after your authorized period of stay. And this is where we've talked about the proof of ties to your home country. You also need to prove that you have sufficient funds for your education as well as for the rest of your expenses while you stay in Canada. But today I want to talk about the actual choice of your study program and how this affects your application and your chance of being approved. So there's this case that was decided just last week, actually, and it was from an applicant who applied for a study permit back in December last year. It was refused and then applied for judicial review, and the decision was rendered last week. Now, the applicant had an educational background. She had let me check. She had a bachelor's degree in scientific and applied architecture, as well as an associate degree in architectural drawing. Now, as far as professional background, she had 3 years as an architectural designer, architectural drawer, I think it was. I might be confused there. But anyway, she had professional experience in that same area, right? And then she applied for a study permit because she wanted to pursue a college diploma as an architectural technician. Now, the judicial review was denied because the officer's decision was based on their assessment of the proposed studies. So the officer considered the studies to be redundant, meaning it just didn't make sense for the officer. Why would you study a diploma on the exact same thing that you already have an associate degree and a bachelor's? Here, the mistake was that the applicant did not do enough to address these concerns. And this has to be done right at the time you submit the application. So from the beginning. And the only mention that she did of this issue was during her study plan. And she just included this one sentence, and I'm going to read it to you. Let me just find it. So her study plan only stated that the practical approach of the program aligned with her career trajectory and will help her enhance expertise in various essential domains. It was just so that's, as you can see, that's like first it's just one sentence and then it's very general, like very vague. So it just didn't convince the officer, and the judicial review was denied and she didn't get her study permit. So how can you make sure that this does not happen to you? I am not saying that you cannot, if you have a bachelor's degree, you cannot come for a college diploma. You can, but you just need to make sure that your study plan addresses this issue head on and that you present a very strong study plan. How do you do this? And this is what I recommend. First, make sure that you mention exactly how the program that you want to study here is different from what you've studied before. And you want to use specific examples and use the study program from what you're planning to study here and your previous study programs as supporting documentation. So you want to use that to compare, like a table to compare. Well, this program had this subject and this one didn't, and that's why I want to study this. And then make sure you use specific examples of how the new subject is gonna give you a specific competitive advantage back home, and how what you learn in this new program can be applied to the job market back home, and how that can then give you new knowledge that can be transferred into new skills, right? Why is this program of interest to you? But it cannot be vague. You need to use specific examples. You need to tell the officer, how does this program translate into a competitive advantage for me back home? Again, you need to understand that the study plan is your chance to reinforce to the officer how you meet all of the requirements. Now, this does not mean that you need to go on and just create a novella or a soap opera out of it. You don't. This is just about laying out all of the information in a clear and organized manner. And it's about presenting all the information in a way that you make it hard for the officer to say no. Again, it's not impossible. You can have a bachelor's degree and come and study a diploma, but you just need to make it reasonable and ensure that you meet all of the requirements. And you do that through a study plan. And of course, if you ever need any more information, you can always reach out to me, and you can find my contact information at marehouseImmigration.ca. I hope you found this information helpful. Thank you. Take care. Goodbye.